Hi, I'm Trez Burton. What I'd like to talk about today is this war with the Islamic State we have on our hands right now. And what we also have on our hands is a president who refuses to call it a war or Islamic for that matter. There's a setting on this video program that I'm using right now called Augmented Reality. And that's what we're living in right now. And especially those in the White House, they're living in an augmented reality. They refuse to call anything what it is. I mean, because the jihadists, I mean, what are they? They aren't Catholic, they aren't Jewish, they sure as hell aren't Christian. They're Islamic. These people have named themselves the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. ISIS, that's what it stands for. The first two letters in the acronym Islamic State, our president refuses to call it that. He refuses to call it either one. Just like the other day, Nancy Pelosi was speaking and she was asked a question by a reporter. And she called all of these people flooding our southern border, she dared to call them illegals, which that's what they are. And Pelosi, she twice corrected the lady saying undocumented people. Now, but I mean, how's that? And one of the worst euphemisms being used in, I guess, the past year is the last 5 years. It was first introduced in 2009 with the Fort Hood killing, workplace violence. Now, I've witnessed workplace violence before. That's when, I don't know, two guys might get in a fight in the break room or in the parking lot or something like that, or when some guy who's dating more than one woman, both of them come to pick him up from work at the same time. That's workplace violence. Not when a woman gets her head cut off by a radicalized Muslim. Last week when what's her name, Colleen Hufford, 54 years old, middle-aged woman in Oklahoma, gets decapitated by what's this idiot's name, Alton Nolan, 30-year-old guy who, I don't know, he became radicalized in the United States, which is becoming more of an issue. And ISIS, they're reaching out through social media and I don't know, I guess other channels to radicalize Muslims in the United States. And plus they're coming over the border also. It's not just what Democrats have you believe that it's just that they're just needy children crossing the border. No, I'm pretty sure this country is being flooded with terrorists from Afghanistan and the Middle East, ISIS members, and they're on the move. And Obama, whatever his name is, he seems to sympathize with them. The guy's completely incompetent. That's the thing about radicals. They know everything about seizing power, but they have no idea what to do once they get it. They have no idea what to do with it. Governing is not their business. They're in the business of just changing things. You know, what is it? I can't think of that silly term that has poisoned our lexicon since 2008. Fundamental transformation. Yeah, that's it. That's what they're into. They're not in the business of governing, and that's why everything turns to shit once they do get in power. So, and there was another woman who, where if the manager in the food plant, if he wasn't packing, two maybe more people would have, because these Islamists, they seem to go after women. They hate women. You talk about Republicans have a war on women. The Islamists who Democrats are soft on, they have an affinity for. That's your real war on women right there, because 43-year-old Tracy Johnson, she would have been decapitated if the manager didn't have a gun. He was some sort he was some sort of deputy, or I forget the title, but he was packing and he was able to put this guy down. I mean, too bad he didn't kill him, but he was able to put the guy down. And I think she suffered a stab wound, but she wasn't decapitated like Colleen, 54-year-old Colleen Huffer. Now, workplace violence. When you think about Fort Hood in November of 2009, when 13 soldiers were killed by this what's this the piece of garbage, Major Nadal Hassan, when he killed 13 soldiers and wounded 32 others, and one of the 13 was a pregnant woman, so she died, and also the baby. And that's when this workplace that's when this bullshit administration first labeled any act of terrorism that happens on our land. That's where they first labeled it workplace violence. And now the Islamic beheading at the food plant in Oklahoma, that's also being labeled workplace violence. Again, I see workplace violence as something entirely different. I've witnessed workplace violence, and that's not it. It doesn't include decapitations, and no one shouts Allahu Akbar at the end of a fight, at the end of a fight in the break room or the parking lot or anything like that. But and now when you add that to the two most recent decapitations, you have James Foley, the American journalist, 40 years old, and the other journalist, Stephen Sotloff, only 31 years old. Now, I guess now they didn't those didn't happen on our grounds. Anything like I said earlier, anything that happens on our grounds within the United States, they label it workplace violence. But yet, when the same thing happens overseas, it is terrorism. And I guess it takes all Obama has to even call it terrorism, because he tried to wipe that out of our he tried to wipe that term from our memories, from our lexicon. I can't even think of the long term. What was it? Contingency. I don't know. It was so stupid. I didn't even bother to try to remember it. But it's terrorism, and yes, it is Islamic, whether he chooses to call it that or not. And he doesn't even want to call the terrorist organization. He won't call them ISIS. He calls them ISIL, which simply the acronym just replaces Syria with the Levant, which includes a couple more states over there, nation states, Lebanon, Israel. It includes those also. It's a strip of land that runs from Syria to down through Israel. I don't know. And then when you add that to the British soldier who was decapitated in the middle of the street in London, and the African immigrant, he shouts Allahu Akbar, holding the soldier's head up in the middle of the street, and he's covered with blood. Because this is also a problem in all Western civilized, and emphasis on civilized, because I believe the Islamists, they're savages. They're stuck in the 9th century, back where they belong. I mean, these I don't know, but political correctness is at the root of the problem. I mean, in France and the European states and the United States, political correctness is the problem. I mean, these Islamists, what they do, these Muslims, what they do is they get into a country, and then they just, in their peace, they start out peaceful until they reach a certain population percentage, and then that's when all hell breaks loose. They start making all their demands, and if you're a restaurant and they can smell your restaurant could have been in that spot for 40, 50, 60 years, but now if they can smell you cooking bacon, they want you to shut down or stop cooking bacon in your restaurant. And they're at universities changing traditions. Oh, well, if you that's against our religion. That's disrespectful to our religion. And they populate, and once they reach a certain number, they just start trying to change all kinds of traditions, and we allow it. I don't see it as their fault for doing it. It's the person's fault who allows it. And political correctness is going to kill us. I mean, and we have an administration who won't even address them as the savages they are. I mean, and if you, I mean, this administration is just, I don't know, they're making with these diseases and with these Islamists. I mean, because both of them means death to America, and they're using all means. And who's to say that? Well, I actually I have heard a report that says that some of these Islamists they are purposely catching Ebola to bring it over here into the United States. And with this crazy administration, we'll probably fly them wherever they want to go in the country, because I don't know, that's what we've been doing with everyone who's been flooding our southern border. And I don't know, it's just a complete mess. And we have an administration and an ignorant population who just, I don't know, allows these people to we allow these people to get away with whatever they want to tell us. The media, they've long sold us out. They sold us out decades ago. So you can't count on them for real information, because I'm pretty sure if Americans were getting the real information, and I'd say about half of us are, if we were getting real information, I'm pretty sure we would react. Because with the way they're trying to downplay these Ebola breakouts, and what's the other one? Polio 2.0, the virus that's paralyzing kids and attacking their respiratory systems. It's a complete mess. And when you talk about presidents, this guy is just so ill-equipped for he either wants our destruction, or which I think it's a combination of both, because simply calling him incompetent, that's giving him too much of a pass. The guy knows what he's doing. Like, he knows that he wants to knock America down a peg or two or 100. And but I also believe this job is over his head. He wants to deal with domestic policies, because he has no problem acting strong against conservatives, but he could, because I mean, according to liberals in the United States, the only terrorists they know of are the Tea Party members, which I'm a proud member of. And I mean, and even Republicans, not conservatives, but Republicans. The only terrorists that they're willing to that they're willing to go hardcore against are the Tea Party and law-abiding citizens who just wish you would get out of our homes and out of our pockets. And I don't know, when you talk about presidents, I just wonder, like, how many people, like, I see his poll numbers dropping dramatically, but somehow I just, when I make contact with people, I just really don't see where people are waking up, and that scares me, because we can have a discussion, and again, I have my feelings about each president. Of course, you can like George W. Bush. I'm sort of in the middle with him. He did some things right. He did some things wrong. More so towards the latter part of his the later part of his second term. But with George W. Bush, we can sit down and talk about things he did right and things he did wrong. You could take Bill Clinton. We could sit down. We can talk about things he did right and things he did wrong. With Hussein Obama, there's no discussion, because I got to tell you, I can't name shit that this man did right. Not one thing. Nothing. I can't tell you anything that this man has done right. And I got to tell you, we're 6 years in now. I got to tell you, I'm more upset at the idiots who tell you this guy, who will tell you 6 years in that this guy is trying. I mean, we're in a society now where you get a gold star for trying, you get a trophy for showing up. No, I mean, I grew up when you either won or you lost. You either passed or you failed, and and it mattered. Achievement mattered. How long can a private company let somebody try before they cut them loose? How long, if you get hired in a position, how long are they going to let you try and and just constantly fail and lose them money before they cut you loose and replace you with someone who can do the job? So I mean, this bullshit that he's trying, you got to be pretty dumb this far in to use that as an excuse. The guy's trying, and stop telling me he cares too. He does not care about you. He doesn't care about you. He still has flights coming in from the Western African countries that are carrying where Ebola broke out. He's bringing diseased kids in to sit next to your kids in schools and hospitals and buses, and kids are dying from. Just on the local news in New Jersey, I was hearing about the cases where kids are dying from the respiratory disease, and in Colorado, where kids are becoming paralyzed. And where's the compassion for them? Because these disgusting Democrats like Hussein Obama and Nancy Pelosi, they'll get on TV because Democrats love using children. What's the ugly one? Wasserman Schultz. They all get on TV. They hold up these kids as human shields and tell you how much they care about them. And Democrats, they have they got a monopoly on everybody: children, women, gays, blacks. And they're trying to get a grip on Hispanics, and I don't know. And all of these groups, and especially blacks, are too dumb to figure out that these people don't care about them. They're using them. They are using them. But I don't know. And then these kids are being held, these foreign kids are being held up as human shields, like, oh, we care about them, we got to help them, we got to help them. But what about your kid? Your kid is now subject to diseases that they would never have been exposed to, and you stand a chance of losing your kid because of their so-called compassion. And you have to ask, is it our Congress or is it Guatemala's Congress? Is he the president of the United States, or is he the president of South America? He's supposed to be worried about our interests. He's supposed to be protecting us. He's not the president of the world. And I know he thinks so, but he isn't. I mean, this guy couldn't run a lemonade stand, but and he's trying to run the world. And again, I get more and more afraid, not because of him, but because of the citizens. And because Congress isn't doing anything to resist this man. I mean, you have a few, but the kick in the ass that Congress needs comes from the citizens, because they do act right on occasion, and it's only when we get pissed. So we still matter. We still matter, but I don't know. To me, it's just still not enough of us. And that's the part I worry about. I mean, with ISIS, with these diseases, and I don't know, this monster, this miscreant, this bigger dope in the White House, he still has 2 years. And today is October 4th. We're a month away from the election, and I don't know, it's looking good so far, but not looking good enough, because we Republicans, when I say we are not running on any kind of strong agenda. We're just it's on autopilot. So it's up to us, and what should be an easy task, being that this administration is such a failure. What should be an easy task might not be. Now, I'm confident that we will take the Senate, but I mean, I don't know. I was confident that we would win the presidency in 2012, so we just got to wait and see on that. Anyway, I'm Trez Burden, at Tresidential on Twitter. Good day and good luck.